After fervently engaging in CP hype, I unexpectedly skyrocketed to fame, albeit in a rather disparaging manner. Yet, even negative attention is still attention, isn't it? My agent promptly thrust me into a reality dating show, urging me not to miss any opportunity for CP promotion. Anyone would suffice, as long as it could garner heat. The guest list remained shrouded in mystery. Even I was oblivious to the identities of my fellow participants. However, on the very first day of the broadcast, I was utterly flabbergasted to discover that all 6 male guests were, in fact, my boyfriends, each unaware of the other's existence. That evening, Weibo erupted in chaos as the 7 of us donned identical couple shirts. My agent frantically called me, exclaiming, "I instructed you to create CP with one person, not with all of them." 01. I am the notorious queen of the entertainment industry, having risen to prominence by engaging in CP hype that has captivated the entire internet. Among my 20 million followers, a staggering 19.99 million are detractors, drawn solely to my profile to hurl insults, while the remaining 10,000 are zombie accounts purchased by my agency. Just today, following the conclusion of filming, a photo of me with the esteemed Best Actor was released, resulting in a torrent of vitriol aimed at me. "Stay away from my brother, you vile woman." Oh, here we go again. This sister is addicted to clout, daring to latch onto the fame of Best Actor Paige Ching. Does she not realize his stature? Has it only been a few months? She's already stirring up CP rumors with the Best Actor again. If I'm not mistaken, this is the 6th one this year. As I perused the comment section filled with ridicule and scorn, I couldn't help but smile. Little did these fans know, my CP with the Best Actor was genuine, and this photo was actually at his behest. Truth. Every CP I've engaged in has been authentic, with the revelations often instigated by the men themselves seeking media attention. Each of them declares their claim over me, blissfully unaware that the reins of power have always rested in my hands. Indeed, I possess 6 boyfriends. Each remains oblivious to the others, treating me as their most cherished treasure. This is undoubtedly a result of my adeptness in nurturing their affections. 6 months prior, I was merely a minor figure in the entertainment sphere, teetering on the brink of withdrawal when I was unexpectedly bound to a Black Lotus system. The system declared that if I successfully courted the male lead of this world, I would be rewarded with a staggering 100 million yuan. Yet, failure would result in my demise. Upon hearing this, I nearly burst into laughter. To hesitate even a moment would be a disservice to that 100 million. Soon after, images of 6 men appeared in my mind. I was familiar with these handsome figures. The rising dual top-tier stars, the Best Actor, the pop music sensation, the recently ascendant male idol, and a particularly well-built male model from the industry. Each one was strikingly handsome, with legions of adoring fans. Yet, as I gazed at these 6 faces, I couldn't help but wonder, who exactly is the male lead? The system replied, "They all are." I was baffled. The system reassured me, "Don't fret, merely 6, it's manageable." I stammered. "Help. System, do you even hear yourself?" 02. It was only later that I discovered the system was severely lacking in energy, which led to the compression of the from 6 worlds into a single one. Thanks to the system, I found myself entangled with 6 men, effectively transforming myself into a master of time management. I navigated through the intricacies of garnering affection, playing the role of an ardent admirer, and each time I noticed the slow ascent of the affection meter, I questioned whether I had not been sufficiently devoted. After all, it was a reward of 100 million. However, after 6 months of fervently pushing my KPIs, the affection values of all 6 targets stagnated at a frustrating 99. I was left speechless, nearly spewing blood in exasperation at the system. Just as I was lamenting the elusive affection points, my manager's phone call yanked me back to reality. Ran, splendid job. I see you've made it to the trending list again. Capitalizing on this momentum, I've secured you a spot on a dating reality show, so pack your bags. We're departing tomorrow. I raised an eyebrow. Who are the other guests? What's the format? There was a brief pause on the other end before she replied, "I'm not quite sure." I was taken aback. The next moment, my manager flashed a mysterious smile. "But fret not. I have my sources, and I can tell you there will be 6 men and 6 women, plenty of heat for you to ride on." The production team has kept everything under wraps until the live broadcast tomorrow. They probably intend to unveil the guest list then. Anyway, this dating show has garnered considerable anticipation. If it weren't for the recent backlash against you, given your current status, you wouldn't even dream of getting in. Our sole objective tomorrow is to seize the opportunity to create couple dynamics, whoever it may be, as long as it generates buzz. Listening to the excitement in my manager's voice, I readily agreed. After all, stirring up couple dynamics and riding the wave of popularity was my forte. But when the recording of the show commenced the following day, I found myself unable to muster a smile. The 6 male guests who graced the stage were all my boyfriends. It was one thing for them to be unaware of each other, but what was with the identical couple outfits? Goodness. It was as if they all shared the same wardrobe, their aesthetics eerily synchronized. Consequently, we formed a striking tableau with me and the 6 male guests clad in matching outfits, while the other 5 female guests radiated their unique beauty. And this was a live broadcast. The expressions on Pei Qing and the others darkened instantly, clearly recognizing one another, each having once played the role of my romantic partner. I awkwardly approached them, attempting to break the ice. What a coincidence. We all share the same taste, ha. Yet no one laughed. During a break, I hurried to the lounge and opened Weibo, and unsurprisingly, I was trending. Not just trending, but with 8 out of the top 10 posts about me. Su Xingran's desperate quest for fame, Su Xingran, couple outfits. Was I the only one sensing the peculiar dynamics between Su Xingran and the others? The comment section was a spectacle in itself. Does Su Xingran have no shame, simultaneously dating 6 male guests? Can't she spare a brother? Once was already too much. And now a second time? Initially, I was curious about who Su Xingran would choose to stir up CP with this time, but I underestimated her. It turns out she is juggling 6 male guests at once. Incredible. When the 6 male guests appeared, I was already thinking that these guys had all dated Su Xingran before, and I was speculating with friends about who the black-hearted sister would choose this time. Evidently, in the adult world, everyone wants a piece. 999, because 6 is a crowd. Before I could finish scrolling, there was a sudden knock on the lounge door. Upon opening it, I was met with a sight that sent chills down my spine. 6 men stood clustered at the entrance, their expressions grim. Ultimately, it was Pei Qing who, through gritted teeth, broke the silence. Su Xingran, care to explain? Oh no, I was in deep trouble. 03 I mustered a sheepish smile. Could it be that this is all a misunderstanding? Before I could finish, Shen Yun, who stood beside me, suddenly laughed. In the blink of an eye, I was yanked forward, crashing against Shen Yun's chest, the warmth of his breath brushing against my cheek. Gazing at his chiseled visage, my heart skipped a beat. At that moment, I heard his low, husky voice murmur, a misunderstanding? Darling, you need to make your act more convincing. Am I not enough for you? Why seek out 6? Are you trying to give your boyfriend a heart attack? I always wondered why you kept refusing to go public with us. Turns out you were just waiting for this. Why so quiet? Darling? Our eyes locked, and I could see the barely concealed danger in his gaze, prompting me to swallow hard. Stealing a glance at the others, who looked ready to explode, I had no doubt that if this weren't a recording, they would tear me to shreds. The 36 stratagems dictate that survival is paramount. After all, I had already pushed the affection values to 99. There would still be opportunities to secure that last point. With that thought in mind, I blinked vigorously, and in the next moment, tears began to trickle down my cheeks. Landing softly on my hand, I bit my lip and gazed at Shen Yun with a pitiful expression. I'm sorry, I was wrong. I shouldn't have deceived you all. Let's break up, and I promise to disappear from your lives. At my words, Shen Yun fell silent for 2 seconds, his gaze lowered as if lost in thought. However, the man to my right, Pei Qing, couldn't contain himself any longer, scoffing, break up? You think it's that simple? You toyed with my feelings. And now that you've been caught with 6 boyfriends, you want to just walk away? Not on my watch. What do you want me to do? I blurted out defensively. Pei Qing shot me a look that seemed to scream, you should know better. You owe me an explanation. I was left speechless. Perhaps it was my imagination, but I couldn't shake the feeling that Pei Qing's eyes held a hint of grievance as he uttered those words. Leaning against the wall with his arms crossed, the male model Song Yuzo furrowed his brow. I see how it is. You're deliberately trying to break up with me. What's the matter? Tired of my 8-pack abs? Want to ditch me for someone else? I'm not that easy to fool. I'm not breaking up. The mention of 8-pack abs drew all eyes to me, their gazes heavy with disappointment, as if I were an unfaithful spouse. I was at a loss for words. Just then, someone tugged at my sleeve, and when I turned, I found Jiang Yan, his head bowed as he pulled me closer. Jiang Yan was the epitome of a charming idol, fair-skinned with rosy lips, and his captivating peach blossom eyes were irresistible. At that moment, he had a hint of redness at the corners of his eyes, looking utterly forlorn as he grasped my sleeve, softly pleading, Sister, I don't want to break up. Let us not part ways, all right? I can treat you better than the others. Even though I only have a 6-pack right now, if you like, I'll work out more. And about those fluffy dog ears you wanted me to wear last time, I refused, but I'll wear them for you tonight if you'd like. 04 By the way, sister, didn't you used to love pinching my cheeks? How about you give them a good squeeze? With that, Jiang Yan took my hand and placed it on his cheek. Instinctively, I pinched, and it felt so soft. Oh, dear, I felt so guilty. The singing sensation Chen Yuchuan and the top-tier star Xu Huaizhou exchanged incredulous glances as they observed my interaction with Jiang Yan, their expressions betraying disbelief that Su Xingran could be this type of person. Indeed, Chen Yuchuan and Xu Huaizhou were known for their aloofness. I nearly lost my mind trying to increase their affection values. Before them, I had always maintained an image of a delicate and innocent little rabbit, obedient and endearing. Now, that image had completely shattered. They probably never wanted to see me again. How on earth was I going to secure that remaining point of affection? However, to my astonishment, the piercing gazes exchanged between the two of them were remarkably synchronized as they gritted their teeth and declared in unison, "Break up? Not unless I am dead." In an instant, the 6 men regarded one another with palpable hostility, each wishing to extinguish the other with their glare. Just as it seemed they were on the brink of an altercation, I could not help but interject, "It's getting late. Perhaps we should change our clothes for the recording." Before I could finish my sentence, 5 men simultaneously turned to me, their eyes ablaze and their tones colder than ever. "Su Xingran, who is the person you like the most? You can only choose one." I instinctively swallowed hard. This was a predicament. Who should I choose? Selecting anyone would jeopardize the task. At that moment, I felt a warm embrace from behind as Jiang Yan suddenly wrapped his arms around me, resting his chin gently on my shoulder. The next instant, I heard his soft chuckle near my ear. "Sister, they are all so fierce. Unlike me, who only wishes to cuddle with you." The remaining 5. This scene was captured in real time by hidden cameras in the corridor, and the online comments exploded. I'm dying of laughter. Jiang Yan's game is on another level. Pei Yingdi must be thinking, where did this little green tea come from? How dare he touch my wife? 666. I've turned from hating Su Jia to being her fan. Su Jia, please teach me later. I also want 6 handsome boyfriends to compete for my affection. The one above has no sense of fair play. Line up, do you understand? Su Jia, teach me first. The onlookers are ready. I love watching a bunch of men scheming against each other in a battle of wits. Let us get it on. Am I the only one who wants to see Su Jia 1v6? Ha ha ha, it's a large-scale battlefield. You are not alone. Eventually, the director rushed over and herded them back to their respective dressing rooms to change. The setting for the dating show was an isolated island, designed to encourage romantic interactions among the guests through wilderness survival. Glancing at the current temperature of 12 degrees Celsius, I decisively opted for a thick outer coat. However, upon arriving at the meeting point, I was taken aback. Goodness, is this a beauty pageant? The women were dressed warmly, while the male guests, including Pei Yingdi, had I to ask, isn't a pure white shirt too chilly for a 12-degree day? And Chen Yuchuan, weren't you always clad in black, white, and gray? Where did you procure such flamboyant attire? Are you planning to strut your stuff? As for Jiang Yan, kindly remove those fluffy dog ears from your head. Save them for home, dear. Xin Yun, on the other hand, was wearing the couple outfit from the first time we were paired together. Seeing the familiar clothes on Xin Yun momentarily disoriented me. That outfit was one I had purchased for him. It didn't cost much and certainly did not match his stature, yet it was his go-to attire. Perhaps my gaze was too intense. For Shan Yun seemed to sense it and suddenly turned to smile at me. My heart raced a few beats faster. In that moment, I heard a man lean close to my ear and whisper, "Baby, your face is flushed." Before I could react, the nape of my neck was suddenly gripped. And behind me, Pei Qing's voice came through gritted teeth. "Do not look at him. Turn around. If you wish to see something, I will show you plenty." Online comments. He.S. jealous. He.S. jealous. Upon reaching the island, it was already past 6 in the evening, and the temperature had plummeted to single digits. The production team had only prepared vegetables and meat for us, requiring us to gather firewood for cooking. After some discussion, the female guests were tasked with washing the ingredients, while the male guests were to collect branches for the fire. In the washing area, my arm was unexpectedly nudged, and I looked up to find the remaining female guests gazing at me with wide, sparkling eyes. What's wrong? Why are you looking at me like that? In response, Zhao Yu smiled mysteriously. Ran, please tell me, how are you managing to date 6 boyfriends simultaneously? The others looked at me with eager curiosity. This wasn't how the script was supposed to go. Shouldn't they band together and tear me apart for having all the male attention? Why did they all appear as curious onlookers instead? Could it be that the novels I read were misleading? Perhaps sensing my skepticism, Zhao Yu waved her hand dismissively. Don't worry, we are here purely for the money and have no interest in entanglements with other men. Otherwise, my jealous boyfriend would devour me whole. The other guests wore similar expressions, all indicating that they were only interested in making money and wanted no part of any romantic involvement. I couldn't help but smile. Well, that's a secret. How could I casually divulge the details of the system? Before long, Pei Qing and the others returned. We then gathered around the large earthen stove and fell into silence. Cooking is something many can do, yet none of us had ever attempted such rustic fare. At that moment, Chu Huaizhou suddenly took the branches and began to light the fire, saying, "Let me prepare dinner. I know Ranran's favorite dish is the one I cook." He emphasized the words favorite with particular intensity. Upon seeing this, Chen Yuchuan could not resist interjecting. This kind of stove is not like using natural gas. Be careful not to trip over your own words. Chu Huaizhou, instead of getting upset, lowered his head with a look of restraint, quietly saying, "Actually, before I debuted, my family was quite poor, and we used this kind of stove. My parents worked hard in the fields, and I had to cook for the whole family every day. I honed my skills during those years." Hearing this, my guilt intensified. I should have treated Chu Huaizhou better when we were together. If I recalled correctly, my persona in front of him was that of a clingy little troublemaker. Oh no. I truly felt wretched. Su Xingran, how could you toy with someone's feelings? The next moment, Pei Qing scoffed coldly and pinched my cheek. You can't possibly believe that, can you? That's a line from his last drama. As if his parents toil in the fields. What mining tycoon still needs to farm? More likely, he is counting money at home, and as for cooking, he has 8 housekeepers and 2 chefs to do that. The comments exploded with laughter. I'm dying. Spread the word. Chu Huaizhou has 108 cunning schemes. 6 men sabotaging each other. I'm going crazy. Spread the word. Pengdi is a jealous type. How many times has he sabotaged since the show began? Am I the only one curious about who Su Jia will ultimately choose as her official boyfriend? To the one above, can't Su Jia just 1v6? Only children make choices. After secretly reading the comments, I thought, 6. After an hour of bustling about, dinner was finally served. Just as I was about to pick up some food, a piece of sweet and sour pork was plopped into my bowl. Looking up, I caught sight of Xinyan's smirk. I remember that sweet and sour pork is your favorite. Eat plenty. Unfortunately, Chu Ger's cooking may not be the best. Once the show is over, I'll take you to your favorite restaurant. Chu Huaizhou. The next moment, Chu Huaizhou, with a stoic expression, directed his gaze at the camera crew behind the scenes, declaring, "I'll offer 2 million to have this scoundrel Xinyan, who is pulling me down, kicked off." The director, grinning at the viewership ratings, ignored Chu Huaizhou's unreasonable demand and instead suggested we play truth or dare. The mention of the game lit up everyone's eyes except mine. Those who lost would have to either answer a question or perform a designated task, or else they would have to drink a can of beer. In the first round, the bottle pointed to Pei Qing. Truth or dare? Without hesitation, Pei Qing chose truth, his face practically glowing with the eagerness to share his romantic history. Ready to flaunt his affection and induce envy in the others. The one posing the question was Zhao Yu, a veritable harbinger of gossip within the entertainment industry, embodying the quintessential spirit of one who revels in the chaos of others' affairs. Without hesitation, she inquired, "Pengdi, how did you come to be with Ranran?" Pei Qing narrowed his eyes slightly, a smile gracing his lips as he replied, "Su Xingran was actually my desk mate in high school. After graduation, I went abroad, which led to our loss of contact. When I returned and intended to find her, I discovered she had changed all her contact information. Our next encounter was at the hospital. At that time, I had accidentally fallen from a wire while acting, injuring my leg. Su Xingran, having heard some rumor, mistakenly thought I had fallen and lost my memory. She burst in, declaring herself to be my undisclosed girlfriend. When the person I fancied came knocking at my door, how could I possibly refuse? Upon hearing this, I was rendered speechless. He had always known I was deceiving him. The system had informed me that he had suffered a head injury and could not remember anyone, and in this industry, having a girlfriend without making it public was quite common, hence my ruse. The thought of it made my cheeks flush instantly. Moreover, although Pei Qing and I had been high school deskmates, he had already begun acting at that time. Pei Qing was handsome, his smile exuding a roguish charm that captivated countless fans. And what was I doing back then? Selling his autographed memorabilia. I thought, he likes me? How is that possible? Just as I was engulfed in my internal turmoil, The next round began, and the bottle fortuitously landed before me. In an instant, all eyes shifted to my direction. I, feeling the weight of their expectations, expressionless, chose the dare. How absurd. If I had chosen truth, they would undoubtedly ask me who my favorite person was. And no one could deter me from earning that 100 million from the system. The command was issued by Songyuza. The dare is for you to show us your WeChat notes. Help. I was at a loss. Just as I was about to take a drink, the director gestured, and an assistant placed my phone on the table. I thought, well done. I shall retire from the industry upon my return. As I unlocked WeChat, the first entry that caught my eye was the walking 8-pack abs. Songyuza froze, his expression revealing a mix of realization and pity, as if to say she liked me solely because of my 8-pack abs. Further down, I saw a delicate little pup, 182, jealous little prince, and the mischievous seductress, Shendaji. Meeting the gazes of several individuals, their expressions a blend of amusement and intrigue, I realized my cover as a certain diva had been blown. Fearing what might be revealed in the subsequent rounds, I seized the opportunity of my inebriation and made my escape. By then, it was already 10 o'clock at night, and the wind was particularly fierce on the way back to the tent. Pei Qing, clad only in a thin shirt, was visibly shivering. I casually tossed my coat to him, saying, "You should wear this, otherwise you'll certainly catch a cold by tomorrow." Pei Qing paused, then broke into a joyful grin. "I knew you would be concerned for me. I'm fine. You should keep the coat. I'm wearing a thick sweater. Truly, you should take it." Jiang Yan chimed in, "Yes. Pengdi, you should put it on. What if you catch a cold and pass it on to sister?" Pei Qing glanced at Jiang Yan but remained silent as he donned the coat. At that moment, Jiang Yan suddenly pulled me into his embrace, stating, "I'll shield sister from the wind, so she won't be cold." Pengdi, however, Jiang Yan could not shield me for long, as Chun Yuchuan intervened, pulling him away. "With your petite frame, what wind can you possibly block?" In the next moment, Chun Yuchuan draped his suit jacket over my shoulders. And then we arrived at the tent. I pondered, is it really necessary for a mere 10-minute walk? After returning to the tent, I checked Weibo. In just one day, the popularity of this dating reality show had skyrocketed to the top, dominating the trending searches. Yet, upon seeing the top search, I fell silent. Sister Sue's story has been unearthed in the novel Certain Tang. Scrolling further down, I saw Sister Sue and her adorable jealous boyfriends are begging the author of Certain Tang to write Sister Sue's story. I'll contribute 1 yuan. I was taken aback and hurriedly logged off Certain Tang. Just then, a voice called from outside the tent. "Sister, are you there?" I couldn't help but raise an eyebrow. What could Jiang Yan want at this hour? Upon opening the tent, I discovered Jiang Yan had been drinking. His fair complexion was flushed, his long, curled lashes accentuated his large, blinking eyes, and the redness at the corners of his eyes made the tiny mole at the end of his eyes appear even more enchanting. I couldn't help but poke his cheek. "How did you get drunk? You didn't drink at the table." In response, Jiang Yan smiled suddenly, looking adorably innocent. "I drank secretly. You weren't paying attention to me at the table." Sensing the loneliness in his words, I was momentarily taken aback. Before I could formulate a comforting response, Jiang Yan suddenly burst into tears, the tears streaming down his cheeks, his nose reddening, his voice laced with a sob. "Sister, can you not abandon me? I really like you." Seeing Jiang Yan's pitiful demeanor, I panicked, fumbling to wipe away his tears while soothing him. "Please don't cry. Sister likes you too." At my words, Jiang Yan suddenly smiled meaningfully, his dark pupils harboring emotions I could not decipher, and his voice took on a dangerous undertone. "Really? Sister, you mustn't lie to me, otherwise I will get angry." Our gazes locked, and Jiang Yan's eyes held an unprecedented clarity, completely unlike that of a drunken person. I instinctively shivered. In the next moment, a coat was suddenly thrown over me, and I realized that Pei Qing had emerged from the tent, standing right behind me. The coat was the one I had given him after dinner. Perhaps he had overheard my conversation with Jiang Yan, for Pei Qing's gaze was chillingly intense as it swept over the two of us, eventually landing on Jiang Yan. Pei Qing smirked coldly. "So you prefer this type?" I frowned, about to speak, but Pei Qing turned and walked away. The cold wind swept past, rendering his slender figure lonely and desolate. A pang of regret struck my heart. At that moment, Jiang Yan's voice broke the silence. "Sister? Didn't you say you liked me? Why are you looking at Pei Qing? Are you feeling sorry for him?" "Sister, you can only look at me." With that, Jiang Yan also departed. Contemplating Jiang Yan's earlier words, I shivered, suddenly recalling the full name of the system. Black Lotus Strategy System. Surely this wouldn't lead to everyone turning dark in the end? After a night filled with turmoil, the next day the director decided to stir the pot once more. Each female guest was to select a partner for a day of couple activities, and by chance, I was designated to choose first. I thought help. As the news broke, the comments exploded with fervor. Front row seats to the drama. Who will Sister Sue choose? I'm guessing it will be Jiang Yan, considering he calls her Sister Sue. But Shenyun has had a lot of interactions with Sister Sue too. She has blushed several times because of Shenyun. Does the little jealous prince not deserve Sister Sue? I'll wager a spicy stick against Pangdi. Only children make choices. Sister Sue deserves them all. Wait, why does that ID look so familiar? Upon reading that, I quickly clicked back. Oh no, I had forgotten to switch accounts. As I was distracted, the male guests had already changed into their outfits and were entering one by one, perhaps by some unspoken connection. All 6 of them were clad in white shirts and black suits, the quintessential groom ensemble. Meanwhile, the outfit the production team had arranged for me was a pure white wedding gown. At the moment of my entrance, the 6 male guests were momentarily taken aback, only to be followed by a glimmer of anticipation in their eyes. Standing at the threshold, I gazed upon the 6 grooms before me. The director gestured for me to select one to whom I would extend my hand, and after a brief pause, I stepped forward slowly. In the next instant, the system emitted a notification. Task completed. All target affection values have been maximized. Congratulations, host. The task reward has been deposited into your bank account. So, the final one was meant in this context. To embrace one, to share a lifetime. Suddenly, an unprecedented sense of panic surged within me. Halfway through my approach, I abruptly turned and fled. Ignoring the shouts behind me, I dashed out of the production team's premises, sped to the airport, and boarded a flight back home. They were all sincere, while I was but a deceiver. Now that the task was accomplished, there was no longer any need for pretense, and amidst the back and forth, I found myself unable to discern my own feelings. Upon checking my bank account balance, I confirmed that the money had indeed arrived, an astounding 100 million. After a moment of silence, I began composing a message, detailing how the system had instructed me to court all 6 of them simultaneously. I concluded with, I'm sorry. I've deceived you. Let us break up. This time I am serious. After sending it, I posted a statement on Weibo announcing my withdrawal from the entertainment industry. Once everything was settled, I switched off my phone and fell into a deep slumber until nightfall. Of course, I was oblivious to the immense stir caused by my abrupt exit from the dating show and my announcement to retire, which had sparked widespread attention. In mere minutes, my brief appearance had catapulted me to viral fame online, with the topic trending to over 1 billion views. Fans were fervently speculating about whom I would ultimately choose to be with. When I awoke, the night had enveloped the world outside. Just as I was about to turn on the lights, I suddenly heard the sound of a lighter flicking in the living room. Someone was in the house. I turned towards the source of the sound, and in the moonlight, smoke curled around a man's face, obscuring his expression. In the next moment, my eyes were covered from behind. There was more than one person in the room. A refreshing scent of lemon wafted to my nostrils, causing me to shift uncomfortably. The man's breath brushed against my ear, sending a shiver down my spine, and I couldn't help but ask, "Who are you?" In the darkness, the man chuckled softly. "Sister. Who do you think I am? Take a guess. If you get it wrong, I might just have to punish you." I paused, realizing that only Jiang Yan called me sister. "Jiang Yan, stop teasing." The man behind me stiffened for a moment, then a soft touch grazed my ear, followed by a voice laced with a hint of danger. "Darling, you guessed wrong. I'm your boyfriend, Shenyun." "Oh, is your heart so set on Jiang Yan? Did you think breaking up with me would mean you could be with him? Do you think he is some kind of good person?" Just as Shenyun finished speaking, another voice emerged from in front of me. "Shenyun, don't slander me in front of sister. Don't you want to keep her to yourself? Who suggested we all come to find sister? You claim sister likes you, yet she didn't even recognize you just now." But the tone shifted as Jiang Yan gently lifted my chin, his long fingers brushing against my lips. His voice tinged with a hint of madness. "Sister, you guessed wrong earlier. You must be punished, you know. How about we take you to an island? Just the 2 of us?" Before Jiang Yan could finish, Shenyun interrupted. "What nonsense are you spouting, Jiang Yan? This isn't what we discussed beforehand." Hearing this, a wave of despair washed over me. Surely they hadn't all turned against me. An island? "Help me, system, come forth and face judgment." I swallowed hard, trembling with fear. "What do you want?" We've already broken up. TSK Su Xingran, you really are heartless. You say we're done. And you think I'm just someone to be discarded? The speaker was Pei Qing, his voice unmistakable. What do you think we want? Jiang Yan chimed in. I bit my lip, feeling utterly lost. At that moment, Chen Yuchuan spoke up calmly. Ran, do you remember what you told me when we were together? You said that when you had money, you wanted to buy an island, build a beautiful mansion on it, and live there with someone you loved, free from work, enjoying life every day. Since that is the case, how about we punish you by making you live on the island? There's a magnificent villa there. One you'd surely adore. We've all discussed it. We'll take turns visiting you, so you won't be lonely on the island. The punishment is that you can never escape us, all right? Upon hearing this, I broke down in tears. The flood of emotions was overwhelming. I hadn't even spent the money I had just received. Wailing, I felt their eyes widen in panic as they had never seen me cry before, and they clumsily attempted to dry my tears. As I cried, Jiang Yan sighed, gently embracing me. Sister, do you really not want to be with me? You're crying so sadly, it's making my heart soften. Jiang Yan's embrace was warm, and I couldn't help but lean into him. Feeling my movement, Jiang Yan stiffened, a helpless smile appearing on his face. Sister, you know I can't resist your charms. Sigh. In the next moment, the lights flickered on. It was then I noticed that all 6 of them were present. Shen Yun's once pristine face bore dark bruises, while Chu Huaizhou had slight injuries as well. I scrutinized the 2 of them for a moment, and Shen Yun cleared his throat, diverting his gaze. Chen Yuchuan, sensing my confusion, explained. After you ran from the show, Shen Yun was the first to chase after you. By the time we arrived, he was the only one there. Huizhou asked him where you had gone. Shen Yun didn't reply, and even mocked Huizhou. Huizhou, believing you had run off with Shen Yun, ended up in a fight with him. In the end, it was Jiang Yan who tracked down your location, realizing you had come to stay at the old house, and he happened to have your key. When Chen Yuchuan reached that last sentence, his eyes brimmed with grievance. Indeed, I had only given the key to Jiang Yan. When he had fallen out with his family, he had been penniless, sitting on the roadside in a thin sweater during winter. To boost his affection value, I had rushed over to bring him home. After Jiang Yan left, I had forgotten to retrieve the key. Recalling this, I extended my hand towards Jiang Yan, the key. At my words, Jiang Yan transformed back into that little puppy from before, looking at me with a pitiful gaze as he slowly placed the key in my hand and spoke. Sister, when we received your message, we understood your relationships with us were all for a purpose, to complete the system's task. Yet knowing this, we still don't want to let go. Even though you deceived us, our feelings for you are genuine. Sister cannot simply use the system as an excuse to dismiss our true sentiments. Saying we're done is far too cruel. Upon hearing Jiang Yan's words, I was momentarily stunned, lifting my gaze to the others, who shared the same unspoken tension. Despite having navigated through the system's task among these 6 individuals over the past 6 months, it was impossible to claim that I hadn't developed any feelings during this time. In the end, after much deliberation, we all agreed to take a step back. I would no longer vanish without a trace, and they would refrain from overly intervening in my choices. Let us first attempt to coexist peacefully. As for whom I ultimately choose, that shall be left to the passage of time and fate. Epilogue 1 year later, I found myself at the seaside, adorned in a wedding gown. As the sea breeze caressed my skin, a voice called out my name from behind. Su Xingran, I adore you. Laughter erupted from the crowd, while others looked on in disbelief. I turned to glimpse the familiar visage of the man, unable to suppress a smile. I retrieved my phone and opened Weibo, locating the trending topic from the time when I simultaneously participated in a dating reality show with 6 boyfriends. The comment section was still rife with speculation about my current relationship status. At the very top, one comment read, Sister Su is happily with her 6 boyfriends. Only children make choices, I switched to my main account and quietly liked the comment. End of the text. Epilogue 1. Sister Su's pursuit of love. Pei Qing and Jiang Yan. Since binding with the Black Lotus system, I have transformed myself into a master of time management. Just as I had rescued the pitiable little puppy Jiang Yan, who had been cast out, I heard news that the esteemed actor Pei Qing had suffered amnesia while filming. The thought nearly provoked laughter. Utilizing the loophole afforded by the system, I made my way to Pei Qing's hospital room, employing every ounce of my acting prowess to deceive him into believing I was his yet-to-be-announced girlfriend. However, he deviated from the expected script. You are my girlfriend? Fine. Do you have the household registration book? Let us get married. Wasn't he supposed to be the aloof movie star? Was he truly so easily deceived? Nevertheless, the performance must continue. I steeled myself and replied, "It's too early for marriage and both our careers are on the rise. It would be inappropriate to disclose our relationship now." Before I could finish, Pei Qing, in a fit of pique, retorted, "I don't believe you. Unless what?" I inquired, my anticipation piqued. At that moment, Pei Qing pointed to his lips. "Unless you kiss me." Noticing my hesitation, Pei Qing furrowed his brow, wearing an expression that read, "Indeed, you are a fraud." I inhaled deeply. Asking me to kiss Pei Qing was, truthfully, a boon for me. Despite being a renowned actor, Pei Qing was known for his reluctance to film kissing scenes. And according to the system's records, he had yet to lose his first kiss. With his striking features, sharp brows and bright eyes, and a hint of mischief in his smile, I closed my eyes and leaned in slowly. In the next moment I was pushed away, yet I inadvertently brushed against the corner of his lips. I looked at Pei Qing in confusion, only to discover that his face had turned crimson, his ears practically dripping with blood. The illustrious actor, shy? Before I could ponder further, my phone suddenly rang. The caller ID displayed my little puppy brother Jiang Yan, and an inexplicable sense of foreboding washed over me. I instinctively glanced at Pei Qing, who was observing me with a bemused expression. "Who is this little puppy brother?" "Su Xingran. Why aren't you answering the phone?" I glanced at my phone, and then at the displeased Pei Qing, steeling myself to answer the call. "Hello. What's the matter?" On the other end, Jiang Yan's soft whimper reached my ears. "Sister, I'm all alone in the old house, and I'm so scared. Can you come back and keep me company?" At that moment, Pei Qing abruptly shouted into the phone, "That's not possible. Your sister is with me now." Upon hearing this, Jiang Yan paused, his voice filled with even more distress. "Then let sister accompany brother. I can manage alone at home. After all, I'm already very happy that sister brought me back. But, sister, the air conditioning at home is broken, and I think I might be coming down with a fever. Can you bring back some medicine when you come?" "Never mind, I won't disturb sister any longer, otherwise, she might find me bothersome. Goodbye, sister." After the call ended, I looked at Jiang Yan's message, which read, "I miss sister," accompanied by a meme of a small, abandoned puppy looking woefully pitiful. My heart shattered. I envisioned Jiang Yan, with his flushed cheeks from fever, huddled in the corner of his bed, looking utterly forlorn. I yearned to rush back and comfort my little puppy. Glancing back at Pei Qing, though his complexion was less than stellar, he was still in the hospital, surrounded by a multitude of assistants to attend to his needs. While Jiang Yan was all alone. In an instant, I declared to Pei Qing, you stay here to recover. My brother is ill, and I must return to check on him." Upon hearing this, Pei Qing's expression darkened immediately. After a moment of restraint, he muttered, "Since it's your brother, then go ahead. Just don't forget to call me before you sleep." "Okay." When I returned home with the fever-reducing medication, I discovered that Jiang Yan's temperature had soared to 39 degrees. Despite it being the dead of winter, he was clad only in a thin shirt, his hair damp, his eyes rimmed with redness, his voice hoarse. "Sister, you're finally back. Woo, I feel awful." Seeing Jiang Yan in such a vulnerable state melted my heart. I hurried to find a hairdryer to dry his hair. Once it was dry, Jiang Yan lowered his head and nestled against my shoulder, his voice muffled. "Sister, is that brother from the phone your boyfriend? Does he dislike me? Are you going to abandon me? I promise I'm easy to take care of." By the end, his voice quivered with the onset of tears. I gently patted his head, reassuring him, "That was just a colleague of mine. He was teasing you. How could I ever abandon you?" As soon as I finished speaking, I felt Jiang Yan nuzzle his fluffy head against my palm. "Will sister stay with me forever?" Upon hearing this, I paused for a moment and then nodded. "Yes, sister will always be with you." In the darkness, I heard Jiang Yan softly murmur, "I believe you. Sister, please don't lie to me, otherwise I will be upset." After soothing Jiang Yan back to sleep, I opened my phone to find a post from Pei Qing. "My head hurts. Too bad no one is here to keep me company. I feel awful," accompanied by an image of a small, forlorn cat. I puzzled over the situation. How could the illustrious Pei Qing not have anyone to accompany him? What about his assistants? Why, isn't anyone looking after him? Moments later, the system replied, "Could it be that this post is visible only to you?" How infuriating. I had fallen for this little jealous trick. Epilogue 2, Sister Su's Pursuit of Love. Xin Yun and Xin Yuchuan. After raising the affection levels of Jiang Yan, Pei Qing, and Xin Yun to above 80, I decided to celebrate. Armed with Shenyun's black card, I sought out a high-end restaurant for a lavish meal and ordered a bottle of red wine. However, midway through, I began to feel slightly tipsy. Dizzy, I made my way to the restroom, only to suddenly realize my surroundings. Chen Yuchuan? No, I should say, am I in the men's restroom? I cast a glance and felt a jolt of panic as a man's voice seethed. Still looking? Seeing the increasingly darkening expression on the man's face, I quickly raised my hands to feel along the wall, feigning fright. Is this the men's restroom? I'm so sorry. I must have taken a wrong turn. I'm visually impaired and lost my cane. My brother and I had a quarrel, and he left me here. As I spoke, I began to shed tears, my tone growing more pitiful. I truly didn't know this was the men's restroom. The cleaning lady had just given me directions, but my lack of sight makes it hard to navigate.
I'm sorry.
Thank goodness my previous role was that of a blind character. Then I witnessed the once intimidating Chen Yuchuan fluster. His face filled with guilt as he hurried to console me. I'm sorry. I didn't know you couldn't see. I didn't mean to blame you. Please don't cry. I waved my hand, signaling that I had grown accustomed to it. As Chen Yuchuan's gaze grew increasingly laden with guilt, his expression conveyed a profound sense of remorse. Ignoring him, I turned and entered the women's restroom on the other side. Upon emerging, I was still pondering how to explain myself the next time we met, only to find Chen Yuchuan waiting at the entrance of the dining hall. I was left speechless. With no other option, I continued to feign ignorance. Subsequently, Chen Yuchuan drove me back to Shenyun's residence, even adding me on WeChat. Indeed, it was Shenyun's home. As Jiang Yan was at my place, if he were to discover that a man had returned me, it would likely lead to a chaotic scene. Shenyun was away on a business trip, and I happened to possess a key to his house. However, just as I stepped inside, and before I could switch on the lights, I found myself pinned against the door by Shenyun. Our eyes locked, and his were filled with an icy intensity. Who is the man that just dropped you off? He demanded. Help. Wasn't Shenyun supposed to be away on a business trip? Why was he back? System, you're causing trouble. I attempted to placate the angry Shenyun. He was merely a passerby who saw me intoxicated and offered to drive me home. If we truly had any relationship, would I have let him bring me here? I could have just asked him to take me to my own house, right? Please don't be angry. We won't have any further interactions. After my explanation, it seemed Shenyun grasped the situation, his furrowed brow relaxing instantly, although his tone remained possessive. Darling, you belong solely to me. In the next moment, he tilted my chin slightly, and our lips met in a tender kiss. After the kiss, I touched my swollen lips, my heart racing. Just when I thought the matter had been resolved, the following morning, Chen Yuchuan sent a bouquet of flowers along with a guide dog. Upon seeing it, Shenyun's expression darkened immediately, his desire to throw the items out barely restrained as he looked at me with a half-smile. Is this what you meant by not having any more interactions with him? Darlings, no explanation? Is it that I've been too good to you lately? Leading you to believe I have no temper? Why are you silent, darling? Shenyun didn't give me a chance to speak, effortlessly lifting me and tossing me onto the bed, demonstrating his temper. Following this incident, I found myself confined in Shenyun's home for an entire week. Had it not been for my schedule to record a variety show, he would have preferred to keep me tethered to him daily. However, the moment I arrived at the program's venue, I unexpectedly ran into Chen Yuchuan, who was also there to film. I was at a loss for words. Was it too late to feign blindness? Before I could hide, my manager pushed me right in front of Chen Yuchuan, claiming it was to familiarize myself. Ran. Quickly greet Mr. Chen. You two will be recording together shortly. Chen Yuchuan appeared equally astonished, and soon comprehension dawned upon him, leading him to a mix of amusement and anger. Recording a show? Isn't Timesu supposed to be visually impaired? How did she end up participating in a shooting-themed variety show? Before I could respond, my manager interjected. What do you mean visually impaired? Ran has a vision of 20/20. Rest assured, she will perform admirably during the show. Later, during a break in the program, Chen Yuchuan cornered me in a cubicle, his tone laden with meaning. Little deceiver. Still pretending to be blind. Speak. What should we do now? Meeting Chen Yuchuan's slightly dangerous gaze, I mustered the courage to say, I'm sorry. Whatever you suggest. I shall comply. Is that so? The next moment, I heard his voice, tinged with amusement, whispering in my ear. Then I shall punish you by making you my little follower. A month later, I emerged from the dressing room, clutching my swollen lips, looking utterly aggrieved. What kind of little follower had to give kisses? What a fraud. At 8 in the evening, Song Yuza timely posted a photo of his abs on Weibo as a treat for his fans. Ah, 8-pack abs. His face was undeniably handsome. Gazing at the photo, I couldn't help but comment, righteousness, integrity, and shame? What's your home address? I'll come over. To my surprise, my comment was quickly elevated in the thread. Others joined in, urging, let's boost this comment to embarrass her, haha. The person above me got hit by a bitter tea seed, but they voiced my sentiments. Let us push it up, so Song Yuza can see. I was left speechless. Where is humanity, sisters? Then Song Yuza replied to me, come. I was taken aback. Before I could respond, he added, Su Xingran, are you afraid? This exchange ignited chaos in the comment section. His fans were curious about my identity, and within 5 minutes, they uncovered who I was. I had barely managed to change to a new account, and now Song Yuza was directly exposing my alternate persona. Although I had flaked on him last time, that was due to the system detecting a decline in Pei Qing's affection for me, necessitating my urgent appeasement. Fine. I deserved it. The aftermath was that I found myself trending on social media, occupying the top 3 spots. Su Xingran, Song Yuza's mysterious girlfriend. Su Xingran riding the coattails of fame. Staring at the second trending topic, my head felt ready to explode. This is it. My reputation is at stake. At that moment, Song Yuza called, Ran, please don't be upset. You can touch my abs, just don't ignore me. I pressed my temples, I'm not angry, just troubled. Our careers are on the rise. If our relationship is exposed, it could negatively impact us. Just let the public relations department handle it and make it seem like we're just generating buzz. After a moment of silence, his voice came through, tinged with disappointment. Ran, is it that you don't want to go public? I knew it. You're only with me for my 8-pack abs. When I grow older and lose them, will you abandon me? I was at a loss for words. Song Yuza, have you been brainwashed by the system? Sensing his emotional shift, I quickly reassured him. You're overthinking it. I'm genuinely concerned about our work. Even without abs, I still like you. Good. Darling, let me feel your hands on my abs tonight. Song Yuza. Indeed, a woman's words are deceitful. Su Xingran, you only got with me for my abs. With a click, the call ended. I glanced at the system's metrics. Wait, Song Yuza's affection level increased by 5? Before I could relax, the phone rang again, this time revealing Chu Huaizhou. Upon discovering that he was among the targets, I felt a wave of despair wash over me, as he was my ex-boyfriend from university. At the time, I hadn't yet entered the industry, while Chu Huaizhou was already acting. As he gained fame, our contact dwindled, often going days without hearing from him, especially when he was filming in the mountains. The signal was atrocious, sometimes disappearing for a month. With lighter coursework and no communication with the person I liked, I gradually became accustomed to solitude. Seeing Chu Huaizhou on television, I would often wonder, is this really my boyfriend? Eventually, I broke up with him, vowing never to date someone in the industry again. After answering the call, we both fell into silence. Chu Huaizhou suddenly growled, Su Xingran, didn't you say you would never date someone in the industry again? Now that you've decided to, why not choose me? I was taken aback. Honestly, Song Yuza isn't anything special. He's busier than ever. And dating him means you'll hardly see him. I'm currently transitioning behind the scenes. My workload isn't as demanding, and I can accompany you more often. As he spoke, his voice softened, eventually whispering, Ran, do I still have a chance? After a moment of silence, I smiled and agreed. Jokes aside, who wouldn't desire a generous favor? After all, it amounts to a staggering 100 million. Once I receive the money, I could revel in a lifetime of extravagance. Upon hanging up the phone, I was elated, practically leaping with joy. All 6 of my targets had successfully made contact, and wealth seemed to be within my grasp. However, my buoyant mood was abruptly shattered when I glanced at my phone, and I was left utterly dumbfounded. The corners of my mouth stiffened as I was bombarded with a flurry of messages. Jiangyan, did you not promise to only have eyes for me, dear sister? You're deceiving me, and I'm starting to get angry. Xinyun, darling, are you planning to disregard your waist? Pei Qing, Ran, I'll come to find you tomorrow, and, by the way, I've arranged 3 days off for you from the crew. Help. Just then, a knock reverberated outside the door. I recognized Xinyun's voice. Darling, open the door. Me. Extra Chapter 4, Sister Sue's arrival on the island. After over 6 months together, it was Jiangyan's birthday, and this time he insisted on doing something different. Yet, he remained tight-lipped about the specifics. On the eve of his birthday, Xinyun and the others unexpectedly proposed a joint celebration. As I was taken aback by the newfound camaraderie between them, they blindfolded me and whisked me away on a private jet. Me. Weren't we supposed to celebrate Jiang Yan's birthday? Why was I the one being blindfolded? Just as I contemplated removing the blindfold, someone seized my hand, and the next moment, I felt the plush sensation of furry dog ears atop Jiang Yan's head. I paused, unable to resist the urge to stroke them. At that moment, Jiang Yan's pitiful, coaxing voice reached my ears. Sister, I've let you touch my ears. You must behave. Hearing this, my cheeks flushed crimson. Well, the hands that caress are indeed short. However, when we arrived at our destination and I removed the blindfold, I was left utterly stunned. Help! They had taken me to an island. For reasons unknown. An ominous premonition stirred within me, and as I turned to flee, I found the plane had already departed faster than I could react. Me. At that moment, a warm presence enveloped me from behind. Xinyun stood there, wrapping me in his embrace, resting his chin gently atop my head, and with a smirk. He said, "Darling, where do you think you're running off to? This is a private island we collectively purchased, surrounded by nothing but sea. There are no helicopters here. Where do you intend to escape?" A sudden chill ran down my spine, and I suppressed the urge to flee, casting a nonchalant glance at the men around me. What does this mean? Are you planning to imprison me here? At my words, I distinctly felt the man behind me shudder, followed by a soft touch against my neck. His warm breath tickled my ear, sending shivers coursing through me. Darling, how could you think so poorly of us? We merely brought you here to relax and to celebrate Jiang Yan's birthday, right, Jiang Yan? As I met Jiang Yan's gaze, he unexpectedly smiled, his eyes curving in a way that seemed utterly harmless. Yes, sister, today is just a celebration for my birthday, but today is my birthday. So you must do everything I say, and you are not allowed to refuse. Before I could voice my objections, Jiang Yan silenced me with a kiss. As we entered the villa, dinner was already prepared, and a grand cake sat at the center of the table. After Jiang Yan made his wish, he handed me the first slice. However, upon taking a few bites, I realized I was the only one eating. Everyone else remained untouched. Suspicion filled my gaze as I scanned their faces. At that moment, Jiang Yan leaned closer, and I instinctively held my breath upon seeing his handsome face magnified before me. What's wrong? With a mischievous smile, Jiang Yan replied, Sister, I want some cake too. Well, go ahead and eat, I replied, puzzled. In the next instant, he placed a kiss on my lips, and as I looked at the white cream smeared on his red lips, my face turned beet red. Our eyes locked, and Jiang Yan teasingly licked his lips. Sister, it's so sweet. At this, my face flushed even deeper, and my heart raced. Avoiding his gaze, I quickly turned away. Of course, cream is sweet. Turning my face, I met Xinyun's amused eyes. Darling, I also want some cake. What should I do? After we finished the cake, I placed my hand on my left chest, nearly frightened to death. My heart had been racing so fast I thought it might explode. Before I could process it all, Jiang Yan suddenly expressed a desire to soak in the hot springs. Yes, there were hot springs behind the villa. Just as I hesitated, Jiang Yan's eyes glistened with unshed tears, his soft, rosy lips pouting as he prepared to cry. Didn't you say you would listen to me today, sister? You're lying. You clearly don't love me. You took advantage of me and now don't want to take responsibility. I feel so neglected. It's so heartbreaking, especially since it's my birthday, and I've been looking forward to it for so long. Help. In an instant, guilt flooded my heart. All right, darling, let me give you a kiss. I would give my life for you. Unable to resist, I cupped Jiang Yan's fair, handsome face and planted a kiss on his lips. Don't cry. I will listen to you. However, upon reaching the hot springs, the one crying turned out to be me. Just before I fainted, I couldn't help but ask Jiang Yan, we'll go home tomorrow, right? At that moment, Pei Qing suddenly interjected, we're not going home. Tomorrow is my birthday. Me. Ahem, I'm celebrating early. Others, I'm celebrating early too. Xinyun, the plane will come to pick us up in a week, darling. Me. End of the text.